Imagine this. A bustling college campus, thousands gathered for a political rally, and then just instantly, a single fatal shot shatters the air.
Chilling.
Exactly. That chilling immediacy is where we're starting our deep dive today.
Okay.
We are taking on the September 10th, 2025 killing of the conservative political activist Charlie Kirk. This happened at Utah Valley University.
Right, UVU.
We've pulled together a pretty comprehensive set of sources. There's a detailed Wikipedia article on it, and our mission, really, is to cut through the noise.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give you a shortcut to understanding not just the bare facts of what happened, but also the seismic waves it sent through American society and, frankly, beyond.
Yeah, the ripple effects were huge.
Our goal is to pull out the most important nuggets, you know, so you can quickly grasp the complexity, the reactions, and the really profound lasting implications of this whole incident.
Got it. Makes sense.
So to really get the reverberations of that day, I think we have to start with the man himself,
Right.
Charlie Kirk.
Right. Who was he, for anyone maybe less familiar?
Well, he was an incredibly influential American conservative, political activist, an author, a media personality, co-founder and CEO of Turning Point USA.
Very prominent figure.
Hugely. Known for his very close alliance with former President Donald Trump. I mean, the New York Times even called him something of a kingmaker.
Wow.
And BBC News said he was instrumental in Trump's 2024 reelection. So his appearance at Utah Valley University, what was the significance there?
Well, his presence was definitely a major draw. Kirk was, a central figure in that hard right movement. He was really known for his ability to mobilize support, especially through social media and campus organizing.
Right.
So this event at UVU in Orem, it wasn't just another stop. It was actually the inaugural event of his American comeback tour for the fall.
The very first one.
The first one.
Uh-huh.
And it drew about 3,000 people.
Oh.
Outdoors. It really speaks to the reach and influence he had.
And it wasn't universally welcomed, was it? Even before he showed up?
No, definitely not. There was a petition going around trying to get it canceled. But the university, well, maybe predictably, given the current climate, they upheld their policies on free speech, open discussion. Let it go ahead.
Okay. Now, on the day itself, security. Kirk had his own private team, right? Plus university police, local cops.
Yes. Standard for someone high profile.
But here's what's striking. Attendees later criticized what they called relaxed security.
Relaxed. How so?
Well, no ticket needed to get in, no metal detectors.
No metal detectors.
None. So given the nature of, these kinds of political events today, especially with controversial figures, what does that apparent lack of really stringent security tell us?
It raises some serious questions, doesn't it?
It really does.
In an era of just escalating political tension, deciding not to use basic things like metal detectors or, controlled access points.
Yeah.
Especially for someone as polarizing as Kirk.
Yeah.
It kind of suggests a disconnect.
You think maybe underestimating the threat?
Could be. Or maybe, perhaps, a deliberate choice by the organizers to keep it feeling open, accessible, despite the risks. Either way, it left a vulnerability. And tragically, that became very clear.
That vulnerability exploited with just chilling precision. The security footage, the police audio, it paints an incredibly detailed picture. The speed of the attack.
Right.
We know the gunman got to campus 11:52 a.m. Mountain Time, went straight up to the roof of the Losee Center.
Didn't waste any time.
No. The event started at noon, and then, just 23 minutes in, 12:23 p.m., everything changed. Kirk was actually in a back and forth with a UVU student.
About what?
About mass shootings, ironically enough.
Oh, wow.
And that's when the single shot was fired. Hit him in the neck!
And what's truly fascinating in a deeply disturbing way is the calculated precision.
Yeah.
The weapon. An older make .3006 bolt-action hunting rifle.
A hunting rifle?
Yeah. Initially, they thought the shot was from maybe 200 yards out, later revised to 142 yards from that Losee Center roof.
Still a long way.
Oh, absolutely. That's a considerable distance.
Yeah.
It takes significant skill, planning, premeditation to make that shot in a dynamic setting like a rally.
It really speaks to an attacker who wasn't just determined.
They're prepared, proficient with that weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. And the raw, immediate human reaction, that sudden violence in public, it's just harrowing.
Must have been terrifying.
The eyewitness accounts capture that chaos so vividly. A Deseret News reporter, Emma Pitts, she described seeing so much blood come out of the left side of Charlie's neck, and then he went limp.
Oh, God.
Former Congressman Jason Chaffetz was there. He recalled, As soon as the shot went out, everybody hit the deck and everybody started scattering and yelling and screaming. Total panic. Another witness told the New York Times that people got down in waves, and someone else told CBS News there was blood pouring everywhere. You just get this picture of absolute pandemonium.
It's hard to even imagine the shock, the terror. And the shooter's movements after the shot, they're also documented pretty meticulously, right?
Yeah, video footage showed him running from where he fired on the Losee Center roof, dropping down to the ground, and then moving into a wooded area north of the campus.
And they found the rifle there.
They did, recovered it quickly, and crucially, investigators found palm prints, smudges for DNA on the roof's edge. Key evidence. And a footprint on the ground looked like Converse tennis shoes.
So not just random details. These were immediate vital clues for the manhunt that was, about to kick off.
So they actually had quite a bit of physical evidence right from the get-go. Given how chaotic it was, that initial police response must have been critical. How fast did they get a handle on things? What leads did they have early on?
Well, according to the police audio, the first report of the shooting itself came in at 12:26 p.m. So just 3 minutes after the shot.
That's quick.
Very quick. And remarkably, by 12:35 p.m., so less than 10 minutes later, an officer was already giving the description.
What was the description?
Wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle, and they pinpointed the location on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library.
Wow.
So that rapid response, despite all the chaos, it shows a pretty effective initial information gathering process. Super crucial for launching a swift search.
And the aftermath, things moved incredibly fast then. Kirk rushed to Timbanogos Regional Hospital. Emergency surgery, but tragically pronounced dead.
Yeah.
And his death was officially announced by Donald Trump on Truth Social at 2:40 p.m.
Just a bit over 2 hours after the shot.
Yeah. That immediate digital announcement by a former president, it really underscores just the public high-stakes nature of this whole thing.
Absolutely.
And on campus, the reaction was immediate, decisive.
Total lockdown, I assume.
Pretty much.
Wow.
UVU closed at 12:37 p.m., urged everyone to leave. Then, by 2:01 p.m., anyone still there was told to secure in place.
Yep.
All campus activities, even satellite locations, suspended until September 15th. Gave time for the investigation and just for the community to process.
Understandable. That kind of shockwave just paralyzes everything.
It does.
And the investigation quickly ramped up, right? FBI involved.
Oh, yeah. FBI, ATF, they were on the scene fast, helping with the manhunt. But that initial phase, marked by quite a bit of confusion, false starts.
How so?
Well, 2 people were arrested early on, but both were quickly let go. Authorities confirmed neither was the shooter. One of them, a guy named George Zinn, described as a conservative libertarian activist with some mental health history. He was arrested for maybe obstruction after falsely claiming he did it.
Oh, wow. Why would someone do that?
Hard to say. But even FBI Director Kash Patel initially announced they had someone on social media, then had to retract it pretty quickly.
Oof. That initial chaos, the misinformation, premature announcements.
Yeah.
It just highlights the immense pressure they were under.
Totally. And the challenge of managing public info in something so high stakes, moving so fast.
Yeah. So with all that initial confusion, those false leads, what was the turning point? How did they finally zero in on the real suspect?
Well, remember that good video footage they thought they had?
Yeah.
Turned out to be difficult for facial recognition, caused delays.
Okay, so not the magic bullet.
Not immediately. So the FBI pivoted. They released photos of a person of interest, male, college age, offered a big reward up to $100,000.
Right, putting pressure on.
And Utah Governor Spencer Cox called it an assassination, vowed to seek the death penalty, really raised the stakes. The breakthrough came September 12th. President Trump announced it on Fox News, actually. Said the suspect was in custody.
How did they catch him?
Turned in. By someone close to him, later confirmed it was his father.
His father turned him in.
Yeah. Which, that raises such an important question, doesn't it? About the complex loyalties, the profound moral dilemmas for people closest to someone who does something like this.
Absolutely. Turning in your own child.
Yeah.
The agony of that decision.
Incredible. Now, beyond the investigation itself, the role of social media here, it was just unprecedented, wasn't it? The speed, the graphic nature of what spread.
Oh, it was an absolute game changer. Utterly. Graphic videos of the killing itself, recorded by people
Who's on their phone?
Exactly. Started circulating almost instantly on social media. within minutes, viewed millions of times.
Millions.
Millions. Platforms like X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, they struggled massively to add warnings, age restrictions, let alone actually remove the footage.
Because couldn't keep up.
Couldn't keep up. One expert noted, this was really the first time such a prominent person's murder was broadcast and consumed so publicly, in real time. Predicted lasting consequences for how we process these kinds of events globally.
It forced everyone to confront the reality of it, unfiltered, immediately.
On a scale we just never seen before.
Yeah. Now let's step back a bit. Look at the bigger picture. This killing, Kirk's killing, it didn't happen in a vacuum, right?
No, absolutely not.
Our sources describe it happening during a period of deepening division and increasingly frequent political violence in the United States. What does that context tell us?
That's a really crucial point. And it's more than just an observation, I think. If you connect the dots, this came after a whole series of other violent events.
Like what?
Well, shootings of Minnesota legislators, Israeli embassy staffers, an arson attack on the Pennsylvania governor's home, the killing of a United Healthcare CEO.
Right.
And even assassination attempts on Donald Trump himself back in 2024.
So a pattern.
It suggests a pattern. These aren't just isolated incidents. Collectively, they point towards a dangerous normalization of political violence.
Normalization. That's a scary word.
It is. It suggests that for maybe a growing segment of people, politics isn't just about policy anymore. It's seen as an existential battle where the stakes justify extreme actions.
And does that climate maybe embolden individuals, lone actors, make them see violence as legitimate?
That's the critical question, isn't it? Does this atmosphere lower the threshold? Make someone think this is an acceptable or even necessary form of political expression?
And initially, after the shooting, there seemed to be this brief moment, almost fleeting, of bipartisan unity, condemnation from all sides.
There was a very brief moment. Messages of sympathy came from a wide array of figures. President Trump, former presidents Bush, Clinton, Obama, Biden.
Right, across the spectrum.
Exactly. But that unity, it just dissolved incredibly quickly.
Why so fast?
Well, I'd argue that initial unity, maybe somewhat performative, was just overwhelmed by the deep, pre-existing fissures in American politics.
The cracks were already there.
Oh, yeah. The speed it fractured just shows how thin that veneer of civility has become. It didn't take long at all for the event to just get sucked into the ongoing partisan conflict. Used to reinforce existing narratives, not bridge any divides.
So once that fracture happened, what were the narratives? What were the partisan accusations being thrown around?
Well, on one side, you had prominent right-wing voices. Some congressional Republicans immediately blaming Democrats, calling for war and vengeance, accusing liberals of inciting violence with rhetoric.
Okay. And the other side?
Democrats, some media outlets, they pushed back.
Yeah.
They pointed to Trump's own divisive rhetoric as also being a factor, coarsening the debate. They emphasized that violence had hit both parties.
Right.
Democrats also used it to talk about gun safety legislation. Some Republicans condemned liberal beliefs as inherently evil. It just became immediate ideological trench warfare.
So any chance for, collective reflection on political violence just lost?
Lost in the mudslinging. Mutual recrimination took over instantly.
And President Trump's specific remarks, they seemed to really pour fuel on that fire, didn't they? Pushing it even further into polarization?
They absolutely did. He very quickly blamed the radical left for Kirk's death and other recent deaths, too. Said they compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis. Notably, he didn't really pay tribute to recent Democratic victims of violence in those same remarks.
Right. NBC News called that response far more polarizing. Said it effectively blamed his political opponents as, accessories to murder.
And he didn't stop there, did he?
No. The next day, he escalated, said, "We have radical left lunatics out there, and we just have to beat the hell out of them." Though he did add later he hoped his supporters would be nonviolent.
Kind of mixed messages there.
Very. But the overall tone amplified that sense of an ongoing existential fight rather than, calling for calm.
And this discord, it even spilled onto the floor of Congress.
Yeah, incredibly. A moment of silence held in the House for Kirk reportedly descended into partisan rancor, just accusations flying back and forth.
Even in a moment of silence.
Even then, it became another battleground. Trump also ordered flags flown at half-staff, later announced a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom for Kirk.
Okay.
And the U.S. State Department even issued a warning to immigrants, saying it would review the legal status of anyone found praising, rationalizing, or making light of Kirk's killing.
Wow, that's quite a step. It shows how even formal acts of mourning government policy got tangled up in the political messaging.
And internationally, lots of condolences, but even there, the division poked through.
You're right. Leaders from all over Britain, Israel, Canada, Italy, Hungary, Australia, Argentina, Mexico, many others, they offered condolences.
Okay.
But even that global sympathy wasn't seamless. The European Parliament rejected a motion for a minute of silence for Kirk. It was proposed by right-wing groups, and its rejection caused an uproar.
So even overseas, it became a flashpoint.
Exactly. This event, born in the U.S., quickly became a touchstone for global ideological divides. Shows how interconnected these political movements and their symbols are now, across borders.
And moving beyond politics, the shooting had a huge immediate impact on media, pop culture too. The ripple effects were really broad.
They really were. The media landscape reacted instantly, often dramatically. MSNBC fired analyst Matthew Dowd
Why?
for comments appraising Kirk as divisive. They called the comments insensitive and unacceptable. A reporter down in Florida was also suspended just for questioning a politician about gun control in the wake of it.
So a chilling effect almost.
It signals a big shift, I think, how public figures, even ones not directly involved, are held accountable for their perceived alignment in this hyper-polarized media world. It's like it created new lines you couldn't cross in public discourse.
And the rhetoric elsewhere.
No, it escalated. On Fox News, host Jesse Waters declared, "They are at war with us," and then said, "We're going to avenge Charlie's death."
Wow. That's strong language.
Very strong. Encapsulates that escalating rhetoric, that sense of imminent conflict. And social media, of course, just amplified everything.
Right.
The partisan takes, the calls for retaliatory violence, and it also resurfaced Kirk's own past controversial remarks,
Like what?
like his comment about gun deaths, saying something like, "It's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment." That got brought up a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the ripples hit pop culture too, in some maybe unexpected ways.
Absolutely. Comedy Central, for instance. They canceled scheduled reruns of a South Park episode that parodied Kirk.
Even though Kirk himself had apparently found it funny before.
Yeah, he'd reportedly called it hilarious,
Right.
but they pulled it. And DC Comics canceled a Red Hood series just one day after it debuted.
Why?
The writer made comments on social media basically celebrating Kirk's death.
Oh, okay.
So these cancellations, these swift actions, they just show the immense pressure on cultural institutions to distance themselves from anything seen as insensitive or taking a side in such a volatile moment.
Amidst all that, was there anyone calling for, calm?
There was. Martin Luther King III, son of the civil rights activist, he powerfully condemned the violence, called for politics to exhibit a different kind of tone,
Right.
really offered a counter-narrative of peace against that tide of anger.
So looking back, everything, the killing of Charlie Kirk, it clearly transcended just a singular act of violence.
Absolutely. It became a stark, undeniable reflection of these deep societal divisions we've been talking about.
And a catalyst, really, for a global conversation about political rhetoric, gun violence, the role of digital platforms.
All of it thrown into sharp relief.
So through this deep dive, hopefully, you've gained an understanding of just how complex this event was, how it highlights the maybe fragile state of political discourse today.
And the speed, the chaos of information flow in our modern world.
Yeah. And in an era where a public tragedy can just instantly become a global spectacle, amplified like crazy by social media, it leaves us with a tough question to consider, doesn't it?
Definitely.
How do we as individuals, as a society, navigate such intense polarization without resorting to violence? And what's our collective responsibility, in trying to foster a more civil, maybe more empathetic public square?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finding a way forward,